Hey you guys, I am back here with another one, and it is raining right now and I love it. You guys, when it rains, it cleanses out everything. Like, it's Mother Gaia clearing out all the negativity, all just flushing it away. So give thanks to the rain. You know, it just brings freshness and wholeness back again, which is interesting because we are going to talk about returning to the wholeness of God, the sacred mirror. Okay. All right, let's begin. So there are souls who enter our path not to complete us, but to reflect us, not to entertain our comfort, but to awaken our consciousness. Okay, because we're all trying to get to that Christ consciousness to fully awaken, right? And to see through the illusions. Sometimes we call these people soulmates, teachers, mirrors, or catalysts. They come wrapped in confusion, wrapped in mirrors of misunderstanding at times, but through them, the divine whispers see through the illusion. And this can be seeing through the illusion of who we think maybe our soulmate is, and then coming to find that they've been masking their personality, all of their traits, like cloaking themselves as sitting in empresses or emperor, divine, you know, and then others that God will cloak will look like they don't have it all together, or they don't, but that is also God, like testing your heart. Like, how are you going to treat these people that come into your space? And he'll do that for a purpose, because are you worthy of that person? Just like the other way around. Don't get caught up by all that shimmers is not always gold, you guys. And we are out here being tested. These are the tests. And you are tested from your heart space and how you treat others. We are here to be giving and receiving love, helping others, like, you know, creating positive communities that are giving back and not taking for greed. Or you are showing God that you are a hard worker. Like, you will work from the ground up and not cutting corners to steal to get your way up to that status, which is, of course, like building on a faulty foundation. So you got to be careful, because yeah, if you're playing in the devil's land, and he'll give you that, but it won't last. And that's why things break down. That's why divorces happen. You know, that's why people lose their companies, because was it built from a pure heart? Was it built from hardworking hands, like that joined and built like a company with people and, you know, all the resources that they already had at hand from what their knowledge was, and build amongst that with good intention, and good intention all the way through. Even if things get hard, like, you work together to to make it better, find different avenues, different ways to resource, to create something different, to make it withstandable, you know, long lasting. So when we think we're like getting ahead by, you know, marrying into, or, you know, thieving, you know, to create something on top of that, it will fall in due time, in God's divine timing. It will not last. So you just have to be careful. And that's why I said human decency too. You never know. God places angels as homeless people sometimes, and he will test your heart to see how will you treat that person. It is simply that. And that is what we need to remind ourselves and get back to. So you guys, there are people whose energy carries the clarity of a crystal. They step into a room and subtle order begins to return. The air changes, hearts open, tension dissolves. Not because they boast. Nope. If you really, really look at these types of people, and you take a second before getting all like jealous or anything, you will see the room shifts, it lightens up. Sometimes we call these people soulmates, teachers, mirrors, or catalysts. They come wrapped in confusion, wrapped in mirrors of misunderstanding at times, but through them, the divine whispers see through the illusion. And this can be seeing through the illusion of who we think maybe our soulmate is, and then coming to find that they've been masking their personality, all of their traits, like cloaking themselves as sitting in empresses or emperor, divine, and then others that God will cloak will look like they don't have it all together, or they don't, but that is also God, like testing your heart. Like, how are you going to treat these people that come into your space? And he'll do that for a purpose, because are you worthy of that person? Just like the other way around. And these are the types of people you can learn from, you can thrive with together. You just have to embrace that instead of, trying to remove them from the room, from the space. Because a lot of times, you guys, hard, I know it's like hard to think, but God places them there because it's needed. It's needed. There needs to be a shift in something, especially if someone's placed into a company or something. They're there for a reason. Embrace that. If you're working there, don't you want the whole company to thrive? People will be placed within communities, within friendship circles, because the dynamic needs to change. Something needs to be uplifted, shifted. Different mindset needs to be instilled. But we must be open to people. So God will place these unseen architects of harmony in our lives. And he'll do it for all of us, you guys. But we have to stay open-hearted, open-minded, and make space for that growth that we will get to receive from people that God places in our lives. To have a different perception, or to learn from, work together with. So when you block that, you're blocking your path for learning, from growing. We are forever the students. And then, yes, you get to step into becoming like the teacher or mastering something of your own. But don't you want to still continue to progress and learn and surpass what you already know? So these souls move with social fluidity, with deep emotional intelligence. They do a million little things behind the scenes to make life flow smoother. They don't chase attention. They embody alignment. Their power is never selfish. It's stewardship. But here's the mystery. Many of these souls are misunderstood. Okay? People sense their light, the God within, right? But mislabel it. They feel their power, but confuse it for control. Like as if we are acting like we are God's given gift to earth, and that's never it. It's just not. Like, if anything, we're mistaken why others are targeting us. You guys, and mind you, in the Bible, God says, "Forgive them, for they don't know what they do," because it's spirit. These are spirits of envy, spirits of jealousy, spirits of greed, spirits of like the substance abuse, right? That blind us from our godly light within all of us. So when we can clear that out and cleanse the vessel that we're living in, you have clarity. You start to receive your own creative flow ideas, your downloads from spirit. You're connecting back with the divine. But if we are shoveling in all this hate and filtrating out, projecting out from like the wounded spaces and being confused about it, we then misread others' intentions of good intention. Not to be boastful. These people are not to be boastful, coming around being boastful, or to like hurt you or to make you feel less than. No, and half the time they're not even realizing that they are being attacked or they're being spoken about behind, their backs. And I'm sorry, but you got to take a look in the mirror. Like wounds or not, like if you're not taking the initiative to heal those places, or to clear your vessel out and to have the clarity in your mind, and yeah, it can be tough sometimes to like get off substances and all of that, but you aren't benefiting yourself, and then you're bullying. Like you guys, it is so obvious, like the hate that people hold like inside and want to project it onto others, or like make fun of others. You're a bully. Like, this is straight bullying. And you guys, I'm pretty sure we've all at some point in like middle school or even younger or in high school, when you end up becoming the bully, it's you got to take a look. Like, we've all been bullied before at some stage in our lives. And it's really sad. It's really, really sad. And it's almost, it's like hard for me to even sit here and like say that, because you would think that we would grow out of that, you know, but it's these things that we talk about, that all this like hate and destruction that we have towards anyone, it doesn't even hold weight. Like, the weight is envy, jealousy, greed, being a bully, because you've been hurt. And half the time, people don't even know each other and are doing this. It's just mind-blowing to me. We all just really need to take a look in the mirror and realize, really look in the mirror and take accountability for your actions, everyone's actions, mine, yours. And if you've ever once in your life felt bullied like that, you really need to rethink what you do next. And this goes for all of us. We have all harmed others, unbeknownst to ourselves. But that's why I say, check in with yourself every day. How do you want to be each day? Because remember, we all descend from God. We are all God's children. We all have light in us. But if we disregard that light to be hateful, you only have yourself to blame. I am sorry. So make amends with yourself, and then you can choose to make amends with others. And if not, like, just work on yourself. And that's where our lessons begin. Because when we oppose someone who's actually working on behalf of God, when we misunderstand their heart, okay, coming from a loving place, simply that, loving, just loving, we're not fighting a person, we're resisting a divine current. Spirit won't let us get away with that. Don't touch thy anointed, you know? To oppose love is to oppose healing. To misjudge the innocent is to distort our own perception of truth. And that's why some of us have been called into these karmic reckonings. God is showing us where we projected our own unhealed ego, where we partnered with lower vibrational energies, gossip, envy, fear, and called it discernment. It's time to make amends, to remove the poison we helped spread. We stop excusing the harm by saying, well, I was hurt too, right? No, accountability is sacred, you guys. And if we all sat in that, we would be having flames everywhere. If we were all like, no, I was hurt too, and we all just got to like beat each other up and kill each other. Come on, you know, it's like the same rules for everyone, pretty much. It's just who wants to play by them, who wants to be a decent human being. Like, come on, you guys, you know. So. And redemption requires the courage to say, I was wrong. There's no excuse. I participated in deception and I'm ready to make it right. You know? Like Maui returning the heart to Tafiti. This is the restoration of the sacred feminine and the divine heart. When we return what was never ours to take, control, credit, energy, or power, we restore balance to the garden of God. Because we are not separate beings. We are one organism called humanity, you guys. Every action ripples across the collective, and it does. And when one person is misjudged or silenced or stripped of dignity, we all lose something holy. But the grace of this story is that it leads us back to truth, back to humility, back to the wholeness of love. For this is not just a personal reckoning, it's a collective ascension, you guys. Like, don't we all want to like awaken? Doesn't everyone want to feel that light within and that happiness and that glow within? But you'll never get there if we're all fighting each other, if we're all, you know, stabbing each other in the back and acting like, well, but I smiled at you on Wednesday. Like, so you and this person, these two mirrors, right? You speak different languages. You come from different tribes. You may use different words, different systems, different prayers, but beneath it all, you are all both painting the same picture of God. We are. Like I always say, like, color us all purple. You know, it's like, you would never know. Like, so I know that sounds like kind of corny or like stupid, but it is. Like, we would have to look past like the exterior. So we'd have to get to know each other. Anyways, one begins from the top left, the other from the bottom right, but it's the same base, the same vision, the same divine intelligence moving through you both. And it's like just moving together, the ebb and flow of the universe. Even it's like you're working with each other. You have different skills, you know. We are just all so unique. If we could only see it within ourselves, like if we put in effort to those skills, put in effort to our personalities, even like, who truly are we inside? We're not our friends, and like your relationship does not define you. You know, our relationships don't define our individual selves, and that's why we get the opportunity to work together. And yes, we don't all have to like each other, and we don't all have to work together, but what we don't get to do is go behind closed doors and say filthy things about people, you know, just, you know, to harm them. If you don't like someone, move away from them. Like, it almost goes to show how much you have something towards them, you know. Even essentially, it's like you hate them so much because you like want to be these people, and you don't, you guys. You want to be yourself. You do. I really wish like people could see how I see people. And sometimes people can say, oh, like, say, like, well, you're dating their higher self, like their potential, right? And sometimes that occurs, like, in relationships. Like, sometimes, like, I do see, like, the potential in people, and, like, but that's also, like, being, like, a Heyoka empath, like, being that mirror of, like, and it's either people's karmas, or it's, like, for the awakening of people. And most time, it is the awakening, but within that awakening, we have to deal with our karmas. And so, I sit here and it's hard for me because I do get judged. People don't understand like a light I bring. And I don't know why I get hated for it, but it's like God made me how he made me, just like God made you guys how he made you. But like, I literally have love for everyone. But God even said to me, daughter, you are love. I placed you here because your heart's so big, because you see all people as love, and you do see their potential, and you also spark in them for them to see themselves. And that first like awakening to that it can be the person that wants to then trigger back at me as if I'm like hurting them or mishandling them or belittling them. It's not that ever. So if we can only understand where each other sit in all these things, and I know there's other Heyoka empaths out there. I know that the earth angels, the indigo children, like all of them, they do get looked at or disregarded, or, you know, they get hurt in the process. But we see all through eyes and our soul with love. And another thing, a lot of people, and I am sure you guys have found yourselves in these situations. Being kind is not a weakness. And I think a lot of people think earth angels, light workers, like God's children, which all of you guys are God's children, don't think that we have a backbone, because we will not be mishandled either. So just be cautious of that, because like I would expect anyone else, if I were to go out there and say something rude to your face, I would hope that you would stand up to me. And so why would you not think that I would not stand up for myself? It is simply that. And any individual should not be taking shit or being abused or mishandled by men, and men should not be taking shit and being abused and misused by women. We are all the same out here. We just have to see that. And I know in our society, women that stand up for themselves, speak up, speak out, fight back in a graceful way. You don't have to throw punches. But it's them standing up for themselves, and they get looked at as bitchy, or they're too much to handle, or their standards are too high. Absolutely not. Because if you flip the coin, like, I would hope that you'd be standing up for yourself too, male or female. It comes back to, where do your values lie? Where do your morals lie? Where's your independence within self? No one should be taking shit from anyone. Not abuse. And especially if someone is running your name through the dirt and it's all lies, creating drama, confusion, that person is going to speak up for themselves. And they shouldn't even have to be doing that, because lies shouldn't be spewing around. Like, you know what I mean? So, you guys, treat others how you would like to be treated. And by the way, to any man that thinks, oh, her standards are too high, excuse me, first off, there's a level of what standards are. And my personal standards for another being is to be respectful, to be loyal, to have good hygiene, to what are your passions? Like, to want to work hard, to want to respect me as much as I would respect you, want to protect me, to be a good friend that stands up for me if I'm being spoken poorly about. These are very simple things. This is not hard to ask. And if you think standards are women that want to spend your money, well, then take a look at that woman and say, honey, why don't you go get a job? Like, you guys, remember, if you're ever sitting in that, like, you got to get yourself out of that. Like, you know, then you didn't take a firmer look into who is that person. They played you. There are money hungry people all around us. I mean, your own family is like coming for your money, coming for your own fucking energy. Energy is currency. Your aura, your light. What do you think these people are siphoning off of? Remember, we are a soul living a human experience. It's spiritual warfare out here. Like, we are so small compared to all the realms. Like, so that people are out here with entities on them, siphoning energy, selling. We're like slaves. Some of us are being sold for currency. Our energy is being sold for currency. You guys, like I said, be the hawk, be the eagle, look above. Like, it's way larger scale than, you know, someone just marrying you for your money. But like, you should know that person before you are marrying someone and thinking that they're going to take care of you. Like I said, other people cannot make us happy. You have to be happy within yourself. Your individual self has to be a whole. And then you meet another whole. And then you come together and you manifest and you grow. You use your energy. You use that open heart chakra. You use your soul, and you then, yes, you get to have the schmexual things and build and build and build from that, right? That is our creativity, our sacral chakra. That's why don't give away your sex. Like, you know, don't just give your energy away to the vampire energy stealers, because they just suck it up, leave you depleted, and you're like, why do I feel so shitty after having sex with that random person? Because they are not cleansed, cleared, and have clarity and are abundant in themselves. So they are sucking it out of you to go use, to go manifest their own life and dreams. Why do people sit in such unhappy places? Because you're not caretaking for your own energy. It is sacred. It is the most sacred, abundant currency you have. Each individual has. So how do you want that to look in your life? You must clean out your vessel. You must caretake for your home. It's your sanctuary. You don't want vampire energy stealers all up in your space that are just gossiping and are hateful and are angry and are trauma bonding with you over their own wounds that they choose not to care for. It literally comes down to that, you guys. That's why family members want to keep like the gifted child in the family, because they are siphoning off that child's energy, sucking them dry, like having them do all the work in whichever way that looks, taking from them. That's why they don't want them to leave the nest. But it takes recognizing the people, places, and things around you, seeing past the facade, not living in a facade. So, just, you guys, your vessel, what you came to this earthly plane, this prison land that we live in with, is sacred. How do you want to keep it kept? Holy? Sacred? Loving with light in it? Or you say, no, I'm not going to have just sex with you and you and you because I need attention. Yes, I want to use that sacral energy to build what I believe in, what my passions are, my creativity. Where does that land? Yes, I'm going to heal those broken places in me, those wounds. I'm going to remove myself from people that are damaging in my life, down to family members. And definitely not allowing other friendships that we think are friends to bring me down to their level, their low vibrational field, where they don't want to help themselves. Absolutely not. That if they knowingly or unknowingly know it, it's not healthy. You must live a healthy, secure foundation within your own life first. You have to. And it's hard. It is hard. It is hard work. But when we connect to the Most High and surrender our broken places, take my wounds, take these burdens off my back, but yeah, you have to work with the divine. I co-create with the Most High. That is my dad. Mother and Father God are my parents. Mother Gaia breathes for us. The air. Mother Gaia breathes for us. The land we live on, the air we breathe, she holds us. Okay? And then you have your angels, and you have your deities, you have your gods and goddesses. They want to help you. They want to find balance, help you find your balance. To master what in you is meant for you. The missions we're here for, we all have them. But we have to believe in ourselves and stop fueling ourselves with negativity and blaming it on the next person we see. It's just not a thing. And you're just gonna and when you hook up with the karmics and you want to fend with them, and you will get the backlash of their karma. And I'm telling you right now, if you watch them do these kind of things, this gossiping and this black magic, and you don't stand up for the people that they're doing it to, you are in the line of fire yourself. It becomes your karma, your karmas. So that's what I'm saying. It's be very careful who you're linking up with, especially if they're going against the grain of not healing. All I can say is look around. This is the era that we're in. It is healing, and it's hard. But if you just join in, then you can get the help you need on this physical plane, on the higher realms, in your dream states, in the 5D. You cleanse your vessel, you clear your mind, you will be working in the 5D. You'll have those dreams. You can say, who are my enemies? God will show you. Who do I need to move away from? Who do I need to link with? Who is my soul tribe? Who's my divine counterpart? If you do have dreams or visions of your divine counterpart, like I said, be careful. Don't like just have sex with them, but they will always look different. Like they'll have like nose piercings, or their hair will be really different, you know, and you'll feel the energy. Like it won't be your person, and God will wake you up anyways. He will. He'll be like, no, wake up. But definitely don't eat in your dreams. Don't have sex and stuff like that. And then there are dreams where God will show you a vision of like your future with your person. Sometimes he'll do that and show like maybe she's pregnant, or like you guys are happy and you're like in somewhere that you've been before when you were younger or something, you know, like taking your kids there. That's happened to me. So but yeah, you guys are vessels. This is all we got. This is the meat suit. You know, how are you going to treat it? How are you going to treat it? You know? And God is always here to help. All right. Okay, let's get back to this. I hope that is helpful. I know I come across strong, but I'm passionate about this, and I really do want everyone to see themselves how beautiful and amazing we all are individually, you guys. So let's just really try and take one day at a time, healing, saying positive affirmations to yourself, connecting to the Most High. Okay? You have your ancestors up there. They're waiting for you guys to ask for help. Say, I'm ready. I'm ready for this. I'm ready to step into my divinity. So this is the revelation, the sacred misunderstanding that humbles the ego and opens the heart. It teaches us that no one owns God, right? No system, no label, no religion, no ideology can contain the infinite. God speaks all languages. God moves through all systems. God meets us, oh my gosh, where we are. Okay, when you realize that, you stop defending belief systems and start embodying truth itself. Okay, you begin to oppose bigotry and hypocrisy, not from anger, but from divine clarity. I had to see that myself as well, you know? So you look at hate and say, this system clearly hasn't worked for you. Maybe it's time for another way, right? We're always looking for new ways. If that doesn't work for you, you guys, you can make your own way. God and my ancestors always tell me, do it your way. Make it your way, okay? So there's always a way we can do it, as long as we are being true to ourselves and we aren't harming anyone else. And please don't harm yourself, you guys. And if you need help, please find the professional help needed for you, truly. Okay? Because sometimes our friends, you know, they don't have the background to always like be our therapist, or like obviously can't support us in that way, but there is help out there. There's help, so much help out here, you guys. Okay, so that's spiritual maturity. That's Christ consciousness, the awakening heart, the living logos, where truth and compassion become one. And yes, this requires shadow work, right? Healing the inner self. And you guys, become the hermit. You need to quiet your mind. You need to take time for yourself. That is how you connect. And yes, it can be hard because all the feelings rush in, but take that time. Do meditations. There are guided meditations. That's how I even started, because meditating was a little bit hard for me, but now it's fine. But I'm just saying, it starts with that. It starts with you and you. And you got to give yourself that opportunity. That is the only way up. That is the only way to fully connect. You got to sit with yourself and with the silence. Take the time away from all the people, places, and things when you can. I know it can be hard. Sometimes people have a lot on their plate, but you deserve that. We all do. And God will make space. He will. If you ask him, like, I need time for myself, he will make space for that time for you to have. Okay, to rise into heaven, your roots must reach down into hell. That's the shadow. To everything is actually, all the answers are in the dark. Okay, they are in the dark. That's the silence. That's in the darkness. That is you and you. To reach those deepest, darkest places that you've been bruised, harmed, hurt, all the wounds, so you can heal and you can ascend, okay, to your higher self and feel more complete and whole within self and balanced. So to grow toward light, you must first embrace the darkness you once denied. Okay? You must face your ego, your fear, your prejudice, and let spirit reform them into wisdom. Ask for wisdom, ask for guidance, ask to have good discernment. So, and that's what connection can do. It's your meditation, your spiral of growth, okay? You circled through misunderstanding after misunderstanding until the seesaw finally turned into a circle, until the lesson was integrated and peace returns. This is divine integration, the sacred union of shadow and light, the reunion of self with soul, the reunion of humanity with God. So bless the one who, okay, so it's like going back to obviously talking about when God places angels into your life. Okay, so bless the one who reflected you, because we've all run into our own angels out here. Bless the misunderstanding that became your mirror. Bless the discomfort that woke you up, for it was never punishment, it was purification for all of us. And when you return to love, when you make amends, when you choose truth over ego, you realign with the wholeness of God. Okay, that is what I have for you. I know I went all over the board, but I hope it makes sense. And it just truly, it starts with you guys. It really does. It starts with caretaking for your body first, you know, and finding peace, finding that peace and that time to take that peaceful moment within self each day. Find it, go out in nature, be with Mother Gaia, and connect with yourself. Do guided meditations. It's helpful. Start eating differently. You'll even, once you start ascending to, you will not like certain foods. Like, you will start eating cleaner. Start journaling. Just write it out. Don't even think it has to be perfect. I'm huge with that. I write everything down. It's a way to get it out. Instead of like talking with others, and you just be with yourself, talk out loud. But journaling is huge, you guys. That's like, it's very, very helpful, at least for me. So there's all different ways that you guys can go about this, but just start caretaking for yourself. The affirmations, the positive affirmations, getting out in the sunlight at least 20 minutes a day, you know, getting good sleep, eating well. Okay? I know, that was a lot. It always is. All right, I love you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.